So I found an article on logo design trends for 2021, and as someone who has been designing logo design since 2009, I do have a few things to say about this topic that you might find interesting. And sponsoring today's video is a free resource that I've made great use of over the past year or so, and that is Mixkit. It's an essential place to find stock videos for your projects, as well as music to go along with it, and even templates for things like After Effects or Premiere Pro. And we are going to take a deeper look later in today's video. So let me start by saying I have nothing against the author of this article, which happens to be Creative Blog, and you might have heard of their website before. But I must stress, if there is one area of graphic design where you should completely disregard trends, it is within logo design. But before we read this article and 10 different design trends for logo designs, why do I think logo design trends are not only pointless, but also negative to your designs and the brand? Well, here are some key aspects of successful and effective logo designs. Simplicity, versatility, as in it can be applied and used in many different ways, timeless, and also being memorable. The more your logo designs can relate to these 4 words while keeping in with the brief, the better. And for today's video, the third word on that list there, timeless, is really relevant because trends come and go every year. Do you think a brand's logo is going to be timeless if it incorporates the latest trend? Of course not. After a year or two, it's going to look outdated and thus it will need another rebrand. And this will cause brand and consumer confusion, which is bad for business. But anyway, let's have a look at this article. So according to this article, the first design trend or logo design trend for 2021 is minimalism. Just because minimalism is trending doesn't mean people or designers should jump to making their logos or the brand logos like that. The article reads, companies are increasingly gravitating towards clean, uncluttered designs. Now this isn't and shouldn't be a trend. This is just a hallmark of a good logo design, and it's something every designer should always aim for. So if this article suggests that this is a trend, does that mean in 5 years it will be cool or trendy to have messy, untidy and dirty designs? You know, that actually might become a trend, and if it does become a trend, I'm not going to follow it, because that won't be effective logo design in terms of brand recognition. The second design trend for some reason is unusual fonts. If you want to make a logo simple, effective and easily absorbed by the consumer, having a really weird, unusual and almost illegible font isn't going to be a good idea. I mean, look at this logo here. To me it just looks hideous, and also this one here. Okay, so the third item on today's list of logo design trends for 2021 is gradients. Yes, there have been a lot more logos using gradients lately, and actually many people confuse app icons with logos. They're a bit different, and a lot of app icons do use gradients. But some of the issues with gradients are that they can print awkwardly. I mean, they could look really good on screen in RGB, but when printed in CMYK, they could be very awkward or some problems do arise. Gradients do not equate to a simple logo. And also, many logos that are in gradient don't work well in black and white. All logo designs should be as effective in black and white as they are in color. And if a logo is utilizing gradients, the designer should provide a flat version to the client as well. But just coming back to the whole idea of a trend, you shouldn't design a logo based on a trend entirely, because that trend is going to change and then the client's logo is going to be stuck in the past. Yes, some logos can incorporate a gradient, but me personally, I never use gradients on my logo designs, and many designers are the same too. So the fourth item on the list is text destruction. Again, this can work in some instances, but if we're talking about an actual brand name, the logo type itself, it is a very risky thing to be doing in a logo. And that's because it does render it almost illegible, and it does cause confusion, it does look messy as well. It could work for logo symbols like this. This is a really good symbol for this logo, I feel. But I mean, looking at this and this, it just causes confusion and makes me a bit anxious actually. I'm not saying it can't work, it can in some instances. But again, this article is saying this is a trend and it's something to be aware of. But of course, as I keep saying in this video, trends have no place in brand design. So this part of the article reads, by positioning different elements on top of each other, you can convey a wide array of strong associations from consistency and reliability to dynamic growth and progress. So basically it's just describing connotations to shape psychology. And last time I checked, that isn't a trend. It's just, a fundamental aspect of design. So negative space, or as the article states, blank space. So yeah, sometimes it's a great idea to use negative space to create a clever symbol or design, but only if it fits into the brief and the brand. A designer should never be thinking about trends in regard to a logo or a brand identity. I know I sound like a broken record, but it needs to be emphasized. Relying on a trend is going to leave the brand stuck in the past, and that's not a good thing. So this one is probably one of the worst items on this list, and that is clean, thin lines. As many of you know, thin lines are lost on a logo when they're scaled down to smaller sizes. And that's really not good for a logo being versatile and being, readable or memorable for that matter. There are ways to use a line in logo design, but thin lines, nah, I don't agree with that at all. I do agree that sometimes unusual arrangements can be useful in some logo designs, but in most cases it's probably going to be a bad idea. And I want to draw your attention to this logo here. I mean, how memorable is this, and what kind of layout is this? It's just really confusing to me. I don't understand how this is a thing. And look how busy and bad this looks here. This just looks like a mess. So apparently visual balance is now a design trend. That's pretty funny because I thought it was a core design principle, but there maybe I'm wrong. Visual balance, be it asymmetrical or symmetrical, is a key aspect of design, and it's also a big part of logo design. It's not a trend, guys. And lastly, we have monogram. And the actual influx of this into the logo design industry is partly due to the way consumers are interacting with brands and their logos, because a lot of smartphones are utilizing brand designs these days. Monograms are very useful in some instances, and they do allow for a design to be scalable and, visually appealing. So yeah, the key takeaway here today is just stay away from logo design trends when you're logo designing, because the brand could easily look outdated in 1 to 5 years' time. If you're a creative person, you will need creative assets and resources. Now Mixkit is one of my favorite places, and they've gladly sponsored today's video. I first started using Mixkit for their stock videos, and I downloaded them to make content for YouTube, but they also have a library of music, sound effects, some templates, imagery, and so much more. Pretty much everything you need as a video creator or a creative in general is here to download. One thing you'll notice is that the video quality on Mixkit is very, very high indeed, and that was the main appeal for me originally when I first discovered Mixkit. And as a video creator, having access to sound effects is really useful too, and it's something you can download for free, and it's something I personally use myself. One really helpful aspect of Mixkit is the fact they also have a pretty broad library of music, and you can browse over all of the songs in relation to a specific genre, so maybe some hip-hop beats as an example. And you can also select a mood, so you might be in a kind of chilled out, relaxed mood. To make great use of Mixkit's free assets, check the link in the description box below and head over to Mixkit today. If you want to learn something else about logo designing, do click a video on screen, and until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.